Hi, this is David Hull. I am a childhood government victim. MK Ultra, to a certain degree and extent, not as bad as other people, but I was definitely targeted, and I was put in an assassination program when I was a 9-year-old child. The CIA, the military, the Catholics. It all started when I fell off a truck of a Catholic priest when I was an altar boy after a service. The priest, Father Dave, was stupid enough to put kids in the back of a truck and without seatbelts. And it was the first time I was ever in a truck, and it was after service. I was an altar boy, and he put us, Father Dave, the priest, put a whole bunch of kids in the back of a truck, the bed of a truck where there's no seatbelts. It's like the back of it. It's open air. And I was playing with the handle in the back of the handle, and it opened all the way. I didn't mean to open it all the way. I was just flipping it, and I fell out of the truck, and that's when the hit began. That's when gang stalking began. Someone did a cannonball on my upper neck and back not too long after that incident at the school. Rich white people adopted me not long after that as well. A lot of horrible things happened to me. The people who adopted me, they began trying to traumatize me immediately. Jerry Brown tried to molest me. He tried to come into the restroom numerous times while I was naked. He kept asking to come in over and over again. He made me eat maggots. He strangled me. They got a divorce. This was all meant to traumatize me. Later on, I believe they killed my mother. My mother got killed. My family knew what was going on. My brother and sister, Maurice Hall, Tatiana Valderrama, they knew I was targeted. They sold me out in the assassination program. They helped to try to set me up. They helped to try to kill me. They helped to get. They knew I was targeted. They never told me. They sold me out for fear and blood money. They were afraid of the CIA military people, the Catholics, and the government, and they sold me out to get killed. They never warned me I was targeted. They were helping to try to set me up and kill me for the government. Joan Knutson and Jerry Brown, they were trying to kill me all these years, and they were targeting me for the government to kill me and to set me up. Maurice, as I said, my own physical brother and sister, they were afraid. They knew that more than likely they killed our mother when I was 14, and so they already knew I was targeted even before then. Yeah. There was a deal that was made when I was 9, when I fell off the truck of a priest. They were going to bribe me. That's what they told the local community. They were going to bribe me when I was a kid, so I didn't sue the Catholics, and the community wouldn't get a bad story. And let me tell you the things that could have happened with the Catholic priest, Father Dave, by me falling off the truck of that priest. He could have been fired. That's one. Father Dave, a priest, could have been fired. Negligence, endangering the life of a child, of children. A priest. That would have been a bad story in the community and for the Catholic Church. So number one, he could have been fired. 2, a very bad story for the Catholic Church. 3, a very bad story for St. Vincent's School for Boys, which is also the Catholic Church, but they also are group homes for the state. So Father Dave fired, bad story for Catholic Church, bad story for St. Vincent's School for Boys, and bad story for the community. 5, I could have sued the Catholic Church for millions of dollars. That's just a fact. I could have sued them for millions. Could have sued the state for millions as well for child endangerment. A lot of things could have happened. A very bad story, and for numerous people, and I could have sued the Catholic Church. And what's worse for them is I was a little black kid on top of it. Now, there are lots of things that could have happened. they decided to go extreme and try to kill me with telling a kid at St. Vincent's School for Boys to do a cannonball on my upper neck and back. That was an attempted murder. I had to get a neck brace right after, and this was right after this is after I fell off the truck of the priest. They immediately tried to murder me inside St. Vincent's School for Boys with another kid who did a cannonball on my upper neck and back. I literally had a neck brace on. And Jerry Brown, literally, I literally had this neck brace on while Jerry Brown was the visiting family, Joan Knutson and Jerry Brown. Jerry took me to a baseball game, and I had the neck brace on. So this is exact same timing. It's exactly what I'm talking about. I literally had a neck brace on while Jerry Brown and was my visiting family took me to a baseball game. I remember, and he even caught a ball. There was a kid who was going to catch a ball. This baseball player threw a ball at this kid, and the kid was about to catch it. And Jerry just snatched it before the kid could catch it. It was funny when it was crazy, but I remember that very, very clearly. So it was the exact same timing. I remember it was the exact same time because of that as well. So he took me to a baseball game with the neck brace on, and not laughing. So they were trying to avoid a bad situation with a bad story. The Catholic priest could have gotten fired. He could have gotten a bad story. Child endangerment, as I said. The priest, child endangerment. I could have sued for millions. They thought, the Catholics knew that it would be cheaper if they simply hired a few people to kill me and to try to set me up. The government knew that they could use this as an opportunity to set people up at the Catholic Church in the local community, and the government knew they could practice gang stalking and gang stalking, the heavy metals they use to communicate with the gang stalkers. Or we all have nanites in us. We all do. With the food, the water, etc., air, yada, yada, yada. So that's what the government uses with the gang stalkers, is they communicate with the nanites. And a lot of people know this. It's one of the big secrets. We're all in illegal land planet with nanites, but that's how they communicate. V2K, all that stuff. It's normal for them. They want to normalize and desensitize people to it, but that's what they've been using. So I just explained to you why the hit was put on my life when I was a kid. Marin County was personally invested in covering up this story. So let me tell you what happened. Marin County was gang stalking me, and they knew my story. They knew it was about the hit was on my life for the Catholic priest. They knew Jerry Brown tried to molest me. They knew the Catholic Church set up trying to bribe me as a kid and try to murder me as a kid. It's bad. It was a bad story. They made it worse. After I fell off the truck of the priest, they made the story way worse by trying to kill me immediately off the bat, by telling people that they were only trying to bribe me. Nope. Because after that, they tried to molest me. So the whole community set this adoption up. And they set it up. The whole Marin County. The people, the cops, the local Catholics, the local community, the citizens, they set up hoping that I would remain quiet. They set the situation up, and they were talking to themselves, and they were hoping they could bribe me. But let me tell you something: the rich family, right? So if I think if I have a rich family that adopts me, if I realize I can sue the Catholic Church for millions of dollars, they were told, the story was that if I think I'm going to get millions of dollars later on from this rich family, then surely I don't have to sue the Catholic Church for millions of dollars. That's what the story was. That's what they were telling people. However, right after they adopted me officially, Jerry Brown tried to molest me. Strangled me, made me eat maggots, they got a divorce. All this was supposed to traumatize me. Which means people got set up. So the Catholic Church got even more set up than they already were. They already were trying to do something illegal by trying to bribe me to shut me up. by getting a rich white family to adopt me, and hoping that I wouldn't sue when I realized that I could sue them. And that was already illegal, horribly illegal. So they set this whole thing up. So the real story now is even worse. Now they set me up with a person who tried to molest me, to adopt me, to bribe me, and then who tried to molest me, then who violently strangled me. That's now the Catholic Church has a worse story. Now the people in the community have a worse story, who thought they were being slick, trying to hide the story by covering it up and by trying to bribe a little child just in case I realized I could sue them all. Now they have a worse story than in the beginning of just a kid falling off the truck of a priest. Now we have a kid falling off the truck of a priest who they try to kill at the school with gang stalking while I'm swimming to a cannonball in my neck. Then who try to bribe me with a rich white family just in case I could sue. Then the rich white family, who was going to be used to try to bribe me to make sure I didn't sue, then try to molest me, then strangled me physically. So the whole community was basically set up by the government, and they were horrified. So no one was ever going to tell me. And so I became a bigger target, not only for the government who did this, who set this all up on purpose, but by the Catholics and by the Marin community. They wanted me gone. They want me dead. They want me set up. And so for years I didn't know what was going on. I still had no clue. I was oblivious. But my family knew back then. My brother and sister knew what was going on. They just didn't tell me, especially Maurice Hall. He knew. And my family basically sold me out for money. They knew when I was 9. I now realize, like, they knew when I was a kid, like 9, when this all happened. And if they told me that Jerry Brown and Joan Knutz were trying to set me up to try to bribe me, to shut me up about suing the Catholic Church, and that that's why they wanted to be my family, rich white family, I would have said no, because it was a dirty situation. My brother, Maurice Hall, and my other family members, they thought to themselves, we could get money, and we're scared of the government. They did just try to kill David Hall not too long ago, showing how serious they were with the cannonball. A big fat kid did a cannonball in my upper neck and back, as I said. There was attempted murder. So they should have told me that. I didn't know that was not an accident. That was not a coincidence. I didn't know Jerry Brown. I thought that was a coincidence too. Jerry Brown and Joan, rich white family, just coming up trying to adopt a kid. Those were very important moments that happened when they tried to murder me at the school with a kid and make it look like an accident. It was not an accident. When they tried to adopt me right after that Father Dave thing, I fell off the truck with a priest, and tried to kill me after that. Those were not accidents. That's what began all of this. So, let me tell you what they did. So I just thought I was having a normal childhood. And I went to school, middle school. I played basketball, I played football, I played baseball, played all the sports. A lot of sports, basketball, football, and baseball. And I was going to school, and there were some weird moments in school where people tried to pick fights with me out of nowhere. It was really strange, but now I know that they were trying to get me to become violent. So that was gang stalking. They were gang stalking me in middle school and in high school. I just didn't understand what was going on. But the community was personally invested in killing me and in setting me up because of that story. They had a local Catholics. Remember, this Catholic thing has been over there for has been there for like 100 years or so. St. Vincent's School for Boys, the cathedral there. It's very popular. It's very famous, and it's part of the whole. It's like on the border of Marin, like Centerville, Nevada, and so it's in Marin County. So it's like it's very popular, and a lot of people go there. And it's a very embarrassing story what happened. So the Catholic Church endangered my life when I was a kid with Father Dave by being stupid enough to put kids in the back of a truck. They tried to kill me immediately after that by telling a kid to do a very fat kid do a cannonball on my back when I was upper back and neck, which I had to get a neck brace for. They tried to set me up to bribe me, which won the stories. by Jerry Brown. That's the story they told the community. Then they set me up with a family who tried to molest me and who strangled me and were traumatizing me. So they have a war story. The Catholics have a war story. The community has a war story. And so when I turned 14, a few things happened. My mother died, and my biological mother, which I believe was they were gang stalking her. I'm very sure they killed her. The part of the reason why my Maurice and Tatiana were afraid of the government enough to not warn me, not to tell me, to continuously not tell me, and to continuously not warn me. They already knew they tried to kill me, but they also were now personally involved in helping try to kill me and set me up, because that's how much the government wanted me dead. So they told Maurice, I'll say around this time, Joan Knutson gave my sister Tatiana a $10,000 check. I now realize that was hush money to not tell me. Maurice was going to be promised that if he helped to kill me, he would get Joan Knutson's inheritance money. And if I died, like if I didn't die, he wouldn't get it. But if I died, like if I was alive, I would get all Joan Knutson's money, which is probably about $1.5 to $2 million if she died. If I died, Maurice would get the $1.5 to $2 million. So around this time, I made a deal. Tatiana got $10,000. Maurice would get all the insurance money when Joan died. And all I have to do is shut up and help to kill me and set me up. And if they didn't, well, look what happened to our biological mother. Maybe that might be Maurice and Tatiana Valderrama. So they definitely threatened my family, and they told them to help kill me and set me up. That's why they never warned me what was going on. I was a very big target, so a lot of people in Marin County knew what was going on. I was an extremely big target by the Catholics and by the community and by the government. Huge, humongous. I just didn't know what was going on back then. So they tried to sexualize me with girls. When I was 14, I remember my first sexual experience with a girl. Her name was Na. She was Vietnamese. And she invited me to her house when I was 14. And I never did anything sexual with the girl before. So she invited me to her house, and this is the beginning of the corruption of sexualizing me as a child. So they got underage girls to try to sexualize me, and they did. They sexualized me. She brought me to her house, and I just thought we were going to hang out. I wasn't even thinking about sex with her at all, whatsoever. And not even my head at all, ever. And she asked me to give her a naked massage. So I gave her, I'm like, okay, wow, this is nuts. And then she asked me if I had a condom. And I said, no, I don't have a condom. I can go get one. And so that was the beginning. The government, Marin County, they got a lot of underage girls back then. I was underage too during the time to sexualize me. I was wondering why I was so lucky for getting a lot of sex back then in high school. And I thought it was strange. Very strange. I went on a date one time with this girl, and then my brother ended up dating that girl for a long time, and that was meant to traumatize me. I now realize what that was. I remember my brother was in on it when I was 9. He already knew I was targeted, and that was meant to screw with my head. A lot of things that they've done in my life were meant to screw with my head. It was meant to get me to attempt suicide, to commit suicide. It was meant to get me hooked on drugs. They try to, and then so anyway, so later on, so they're sexualizing me. Then a lot of bad things happen. So this is really about the main core of it, why it began, why targeting, the extreme targeting, and what they try to do to me sexually. They try to molest me. They try to kill me when I was a kid. They try to molest me. They sexualized me with underage girls when I was underage. And they got me hooked on drugs through trauma. A lot of traumatic experiences finally got me to start doing drugs. And then they tried to turn me into a pedophile. And Marin County was the first time they tried to get me to have sex with a girl. I was about 18, and the girl was 13 years old, and I was swimming. And with 2 friends during the time, and it was pretty crazy what was happening. And a mother and her daughter were sunbathing. They were swimming, sunbathing, and my friends and I talked about how hot the girls were, or the women were, and they said, "Yo, you should go talk with her." So I talked with one of them. Gang stalking. No one was my friend back then. It was all gang stalking. They're trying to protect Marin community from the story. Everyone knows I'm a big target in Marin County. So I talked with the woman and the daughter, and they invite me to their house, to their apartment, which is next to ours or whatever. And the mother, so we're watching A Beautiful Mind. I remember what we were watching. So I'm on the bed, the daughter's on the bed, the mother's on the bed. We're in the same bed watching a movie. And the mother tells me, "I think you would be good to date my daughter. I think you'd be good for my daughter." Remember, I'm around 18. So I'm like, "How old is she?" And she's right in front of me. She's 13 years old. I'm like, whoa. Remember, the first girl they tried to have sex with, underage girl, was in Marin County. This is very important. A Marin County victim. They're trying to target me. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to set me up. No, they are targeting me. They are trying to kill me. They are trying to set me up. So, the first girl was 13 years old. So do you see, even if I was 16 or 17, I was definitely around 18. But it doesn't even matter, because in a year or 2 years, I'm going to be 18 and she's still going to be underage, and she's going to be 14 or 15, right? You get it? You get what's going on? So no matter what happens, I'm going to be in an underage sexual relationship with a little underage girl. And it's going to be normalized because the mother says she wants me to date her daughter. So I believe, so psychologically, I'm supposed to get a feeling of normalization, of desensitization, of it being normal and okay because the mother was doing it. So this was a brown-skinned family. So the mother was brown-skinned, the daughter was brown-skinned. So that was the first time. And then I said no immediately, and I never even talked with them again. I was creeped out by that. It was weird, and I just don't have sex with underage girls. I'm not going to date an underage girl, and that's not going to happen. So not going to happen. So I even stopped talking with them, like completely. They're our neighbors, and I just wouldn't talk with them anymore at all. I just wouldn't, because it was creepy. It was weird and evil. And once again, I didn't know that they were trying to set me up back then. I didn't know. But that was the first time I tried to get me to have sex with an underage girl. The second time was in San Francisco. There's a story behind it. When I was a kid with Joan and Jerry, they were still together. They took me to San Francisco a lot. And they took me to San Francisco, and I found out later on they were actually trying to get me abducted by the government and their assets to turn me into a sex slave. I'm not laughing. Let me tell you why. When I was a kid, I was targeted to get killed. And when they let me walk, Joan and Jerry let me walk the streets of San Francisco alone all the time to go to this store called Borders Books on Van Ness. Near Union Square in San Francisco. So, and remember, Jerry R. Brown already tried to molest me, and they already tried to kill me. Okay? So it's very important to know this. So abducted and or killed, sex slave, whatever. They're trying to get me abducted for sure. Which knows usually what happens to kids is they get sex slaved and they get killed. That's what happens to abducted kids. They let me walk at 11 years old. They let me walk the streets of San Francisco alone from, man, it's not funny. They let me walk alone in San Francisco. Talk about child endangerment, right? It's not funny. So it took me a while to learn the significance of letting me walk alone. And one of the reasons why I'm making this video is because I just discovered how dangerous that was and what could have possibly happened if I went down the wrong street or decided to go exploring San Francisco and not go to Borders Books. Let's say I went somewhere else. Do you get it? They were trying to kill me back then. I was targeted to get, they were trying to molest me. They were targeting me. They wanted me dead. So let's say I decided to go exploring. Let's say I didn't go to the Borders Books. Let's say I decided to just walk the streets of San Francisco and go anywhere I wanted to go. Let's say I decided to go into a seedy area. Anything could have happened. I disappeared for hours on end, 3 hours, 5 hours. Sometimes I'd leave the entire day and go to the bookstore at Borders Books and Union Square in San Francisco. I would leave in the morning and I wouldn't come back till 5 o'clock. They'd give me lunch money and they'd say, "Go ahead, have fun. Have fun, have a great time today. We know it's boring here at Project Management Mentors at the business." Like, they had 2 floors. They had a building for their company. It was a consulting firm, and they would let me go the whole day. They'd give me $20 for lunch, and they'd say, "Have a good time in San Francisco. Have a good time." And so I would sometimes be gone 3 to 4 to 5 hours. Sometimes I'd be gone 8 hours straight, and I'm an 11-year-old child in San Francisco, just walking the streets of San Francisco. David Hall, would never do that to my child, saying, "You can go walk all day long. Don't even have to check in." And I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have a beeper or a pager. I wasn't checking in all the time. They just let me roam the streets of San Francisco as an 11-year-old child. And now I know why they did that. Now I know why. As I said, I just discovered this yesterday. I didn't think anything was wrong until 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I started discovering the truth about what happened my whole life. And I didn't understand. And I just thought I had a normal childhood. And I finally connected everything. So, they were going to get me abducted. I was going to be turned into a sex slave, and I was going to get killed eventually. That's what the plan was. Remember, they're trying to get rid of me. They're trying to kill the witness and victim, the Catholic victim, the Marin County victim. They were trying to kill me. They're trying to get rid of me. They're trying to set me up. And so now I know the purpose of why they were letting me wander for 4 to 8 hours in the streets of San Francisco when I was a little child. I would never do that. Would any of you let your kid, your 11-year-old kid, roam the streets of a city, a gigantic city that's known for pedophilia, San Francisco, that's known for child abduction, San Francisco, and let your kid, 11 years old, just walk around for 4 to 8 hours straight? Almost every day, I might add, because a lot of this time happened during summertime. A lot of this happened during summer. Would you all let your kid do that? Would you? I would never do it. I would never let my kid roam to 4 to 8 hours straight in San Francisco. Oh, and alone. I wasn't with anyone. Let your kid roam alone. No friends, nothing. Would you let your kids do that? Because that's what Joan Knudsen and Jerry Brown were doing to me. They were letting me roam the streets alone. So that's the conclusion I came to. It's obvious what they were trying to do. They're trying to get me abducted. And what happens to abducted kids? They get raped and they get killed. That's what happens to abducted kids. Now, anyways, let's get back to this again. So that's when I was 11. Let's skip forward to when I'm 14. They began sexualizing me with girls. Now, remember, the people in the community, they knew about me. The girls were aware that I was targeted. I didn't know this as well, but the girls were aware I was targeted. And so they knew why they were sexualizing me. They knew why they were having sex with me. They knew why they were doing the things or trying to seduce me for. Remember, the first girl was a seduction. That was absolute seduction. All the girls knew why they were having sex with me in Marin County. They knew it. The little girl and the mother that trying to get me to have sex with a 13-year-old child, she knew exactly, the girl knew exactly why I was targeted. They knew it. They didn't tell me. They were trying to cover up the story from Marin County. They were doing their patriotic Marin County duty to try to set me up to sexualize me. And yeah. So anyways, they tried to turn me into a pedophile and a homosexual too. So that's just one of the many things. So when I went to San Francisco when I was 18, Maurice got us kicked out of an apartment, which means I had no place to go. Once around the time I was 18 as well. It was done on purpose. It was orchestrated. Maurice kept having party after party after party. Joan bought us a condo, if you will, and he got us kicked out on purpose. And Joan moved to San Francisco during the time, so I had no place to go except, unless I wanted to stay there in Marin County with a friend or something, I had no place to go except San Francisco with a drug habit, cocaine habit. And so this is all a setup, a gigantic setup. So now I go to San Francisco to live with Joan because Maurice got us kicked out of that apartment because he had too many parties. And the police kept coming by and he got us kicked out. And we could no longer live in the place that Joan bought for us, which was a setup. She got her money back, by the way. All she had to do was just sell it to get her money back. And that's what happened. Maurice was a part of it, as I said. There was a plan. I was hooked on drugs. The plan was to get me to go to San Francisco on drugs. And guess what happened in San Francisco? I was doing drugs. I was doing tons of cocaine, exactly what they expected. I was getting myself in dangerous situations, exactly what they expected. I went to an Asian massage parlor. And there's a backstory behind the Asian massage parlor, so I'm going to say that right now. When I was growing up in San Francisco, when I was growing up with Joan and Jerry in Marin County, Novato, city of Novato, and we went to, every morning we went to their work on Broadway or something, and we went down this street to get to their job, and I always looked at this green door. It said the green door, the green door, the green door, and I always asked, what's that, what's that, what's that? And I'm like an 11-year-old kid, and I'm going to San Francisco for their work, and they said, oh, that's a massage parlor, that's a massage parlor. I'm like, I want to go to massage parlor, I want to go to the green door, I want to go to the green door, I would love a massage. Exactly, okay. And Joan said, oh, okay, when you get 18, I'll get you a massage at that massage parlor. And at that time, I didn't know it was sexual. I didn't know it was about sex. And Joan said, when you turn 18, Joan Knudsen, corruption and setup. Joan Knudsen said that when I turned 18, she would pay for me to get a massage at the massage parlor. I'm not laughing. My adopted mother said she would pay for me to get a massage at the massage parlor at the Green Door when I was 11 years old. Now, let's skip forward when I'm 18, and I'm tricked into living in San Francisco with Joan Knudsen. I'm with a drug habit with cocaine. I go to the Green Door and I take her credit card because I remember she said she would let me go to the Green Door and she would pay for it. So I take her credit card and I go to the Green Door. And if you look at my other videos, I say there's a backstory behind them about some of the stories. And the Green Door is a backstory. So I take her credit card and I'm high on cocaine and I go to the massage parlor, specifically the Green Door in San Francisco. And when I get in, there's an old lady, she invites me in, and I come in, I sit down, and there are two little girls there, a 5-year-old girl and like a 3-year-old girl, very young, extremely young, obviously kids, and she asks me if I like little girls and if I want to have sex with the little girls, and I said no, I don't, and I was expecting, actually, I wasn't really expecting sex because it's my first time at a massage parlor. So I just think I'm just going to get a massage by a pretty woman or something, right? Or just a massage. And it was immediately off the bat, would you like to have sex with these little girls? And I said no. And the thing is, she kept insisting. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, no. And she's like, well, there's only me here. There's no other women here. I'm like, wait, there's no other women here? So there's no one else? There's no one else at all. Just these two little girls and you. This old, she was 80 years old. And you, this 80-year-old woman. And she's like, yep, just me and the little girls. So you want to have sex with little girls instead? It was just me. And saying sex. Actual sex. Now, problem here. I'm extremely high off cocaine, and they know this. So, and if you had a choice between an 80-year-old woman and having sex with two little girls, which is the extreme, by the way. And I literally said, can't you just get someone else to come here or something? And they said, nope, can't get anyone else. Just me, 80-year-old woman, and the two little girls right here. So they were hoping that I would make a decision that if my choices of having sex, and I wasn't even thinking about that sex would be an option. I just thought it would be a massage. I knew it was a possible option, but I didn't think it was going to realistically be one because it's my first time massage parlor. I don't have any real experience of what they're doing here. So I'm still thinking it's just going to be a massage. So remember, it's my first time at one of these places. So the point is, they kept trying to insist that I had sex with little girls. And that by being on cocaine, it would get me to have sex with little girls. Faced with an 80-year-old wrinkly old woman versus two little girls, they were hoping that I would be so high that I would choose the younger girls over the older woman. If you look at Joan Knutson's credit card back then, if you look it up and research it, if you look it up, you'll find the green door. You'll find Asian massage. When I'm 18, do the math. Get Joan Knutson's credit card, and you'll see that I used it at the green door in San Francisco. And you'll see it. And that's the day they offered me. They tried it. The government, the Catholics, the CIA, the military, the American government tried to get me to have sex with an underage children. They're two girls. So I said no, obviously. So it's bad. They try to turn me into a pedophile, and just there are numerous occasions that they tried to turn me gay too. I had a lot of gay offers in my life. A lot of them were in San Francisco. A lot of them were in Sacramento, California. Mainly there. It was San Francisco, California, and Sacramento, California. Two girls out here in Sacramento, California area tricked me. They lied about their ages, Macy, Vang, and Tavia. I stopped seeing them immediately when they told me they were 18, and they lied to me. And the point, see, I wasn't guilty of anything until I know their ages. I didn't know what their ages were. And so when I told them what their ages were, I stopped seeing them immediately. And I'm like, why'd you lie to me for? And they never had an answer. But years later on, I discovered why they lied to me for. It was because the government was trying to set me up. They wanted me to date an underage girl and then keep doing it after I knew what the real ages were. Only at that point would I be guilty of anything. So, as I said, the government tried to turn me into a pedophile. And it's worse than that. They tried to turn me into homosexual too. I mean, they both. I mean, they tried to turn me into homosexual by trying to get a lot of gay guys to hit on me. And that never worked. I'm definitely not gay, nor going to be. And they try to turn me into a pedophile and a sex offender. And you'd be surprised who was responsible for this. The Catholics were responsible for it. The CIA was responsible for it. The United States military was responsible for it. The American government as a whole was responsible for it. And the Marin County Sheriff's Department was responsible for this. The Marin County citizens were responsible for this. As I said, a lot of bad things happened to my life, but this was just to let you know why I was targeted and the extremes that the government went to kill me, to traumatize me, to set me up, and to turn me into a pedophile, and to try to turn me into a homosexual. And I'm very confident they try to get me abducted as a child, to be raped and to be killed, by letting me roam the streets as an 11-year-old child almost every single day during summertime, usually from morning to evening, until it's time to get back home to Novato. When the day was closed, I'd go back to the business, and we'd get ready to leave because the business was closing. So I'd usually leave from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock. So I'm very confident they tried to get me abducted and raped and killed when I was an 11-year-old kid. So anyways, it's a lot. It's very overwhelming to realize the truth. I've been getting it in waves, and to realize what my family knew, and the community knew, and the local police knew, and that they were just trying to get rid of me for the story. And here's the thing, that every bad thing they did to me compounds. So if I ever told this story, it would be 100%, 1,000,000,000% worse, a gazillion times worse than it was in the beginning. So they were trying to cover up the original story over here, right? And so they're doing all these things. So every time they do something, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And they get a worse story. So every time they did something to me, they're like, okay, now we really got to kill him. Okay, now we really got to finish him off even more. Now we got to set him up even more, because all these things we're doing to him is making the story worse. We originally tried to cover up this thing, and now it's 1,000,000,000 times worse. So no matter how bad it got, no matter how much they did to me, no matter all the horrible things they did to me, they were never going to tell me, ever, because it would make what they originally tried to do meaningless and pointless. Why did we try to cover up something if we were going to stop now? So it doesn't matter how many times they tried to kill me, tortured me, no matter how many times I was drugged, no matter how many times I was raped, no matter how many times I was molested, no matter how many times they beat me to death, no matter how many times they, whatever, it didn't matter. No matter how many girls, underage girls, they try to get me to have sex with me, no matter how many girls they try to seduce me with, no matter how, right? It doesn't matter as long as it gets covered up. So this is what they feared. The CIA, the military, the Catholics, Marin community, the citizens, and the Marin Community Sheriff's Department. They always feared this day. They always feared it. Always. This video and my other videos, they always feared this coming out. This is what they were killing me for. This is what they're trying to set me up for. This is why they want me to have sex with underage girls for. This is it. If you see all my videos, this is why. They wanted me dead, and why they were never going to stop trying to kill me, and why they're never going to stop trying to set me up. And they know it's their fault. Everything that happened to me, all the little girls they try to get to have sex with me, their fault. All of it. And me being hooked on drugs, their fault. Every bad thing that's happened as a result of this is their fault. And they obviously want to hide their intentions of trying to kill me. Obviously want to try to hide their intentions of trying to set me up. Obviously trying to hide their intentions of trying to get me to have sex with little girls numerous times. They're very evil, bad people. So anyways, I was definitely a child victim growing up. And the community, the citizens are aware of the targeting. And San Francisco citizens became aware. Then Sacramento, California citizens became aware. And when I wrote my book, Should a Christian Join the Army, it multiplied into a way bigger assassination than what it already was. So anyways, God bless. This is just to let you guys know that there were backstories behind little girls. Backstory besides with Macy Vang is that she was going to a cult called Calvary Christian Center, and that cult took the hit on my life prior, and the gang stalked me to get me to go to their cult. And Macy Vang was an underage girl at their cult, Calvary Christian Center. The main one is off Del Paso in Sacramento, California. And so they thought they were being slick by trying to get me to have sex with and date an underage child and cult member. I was 23 at the time, and she was 14 years old. And when she told me her real age, I stopped dating her. But what interested me in her was that she said she went to Calvary Christian Center too. So I'm like, oh, we should totally hang out and date, blah, 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 blah. And so we did for a while until she told me she was 14 years old, and then I stopped seeing her immediately. And I was very angry with her. And so the evil cult called Calvary Christian Center already took the hit on my life. They gang stalked me to go there. Then they got me to date this underage 14-year-old child, and they knew this. They were in on the hit. They took the hit. They were orchestrating this date. They were orchestrating it. And they pimped out a little child. Calvary Christian Center off Del Paso Boulevard, Sacramento, California, pimped out an underage little girl to date an adult male to try to set him up for the government. And on top of it, they were going to try to extort me as well. That's what they do with that dirty, nasty cult called Calvary Christian Center. They set up their local. They gang stalk people into going there. Then they set up the congregation members somehow. They're crooks. They're thieves. They're extortionists. They're blackmailers. They were going to try to set me up, and they were going to try to extort money out of me. And see, it's a win-win situation because they would be able to get. They took the hit on my life by the Catholics and by the United States government. So they were gonna. If they successfully set me up, which they didn't, but if they did, they would have been, yay, we did our job for the Catholics and for the government. They hired us. And so win-win. So they get their setup, and we get to extort David Hall for dating Macy Vang, the 14-year-old girl. But that's only if I know the age, and that's only if I don't stop seeing her, right? So let's say I knew her age and I kept seeing her, they would be able to extort me and blackmail me or whatever it's called, and get money out of it. The thing is extortion. And that's what they would have done. However, I stopped seeing her immediately. And I wrote a book called Should a Christian Join the Army? So the evil cult tried to get me to stay at Calvary Christian Center while I was trying to leave home to Marin County. And Diana Hickison, who I thought was my friend, she took the hit on my life a long time ago too. I have to get out of Sacramento, California. So anyways, they were all trying to set me up. They were all trying to get me to have sex with little girls this entire time. Another name was Tavia. Another girl was at Arden Mall. I mean, Sacramento, California, the CA and the military, they're a piece of work. They try to sexualize me as a child. They sexualized me as a child. They tried to molest me as a child. They raped me by my brother's wife. They drugged me and raped me by my brother's wife. I was raped. I would not have had sex with my brother's wife at all. Didn't even find her attractive. So, as I said, sexualization. Just horrible, traumatic things have happened to me. And now I know why. I was raped by my brother's wife. I was drugged and raped. No other way to put it. I was the victim, and I was drugged and raped. Maurice knew about it. It was a setup. They're trying to set me up. They're trying to traumatize me. They're trying to kill me. He was fully aware of it. And it's funny because I told him a while ago what happened, and he knew it. Like I could see it in his eyes. I thought he would be more surprised. It was weird. But he knew. He knew. The whole Marin County knew. So you see all the traumatic things they did to me. It's just, how could all this happen? Just one thing after another. So when you realize, once again, it took me a long time to realize the truth and to connect everything and why everything happened for. But it's too much horrible stuff for it to be a coincidence. And right after the Father Dave priest thing, it's not a coincidence. And my mother dying, and then Maurice and my sister joining them, and all the horrible things that just happened, just constant. It's never ending. All the horrible things just did not stop occurring. And that's what I kept going for. I was targeted to get killed and to get set up by the government. I was a kid. And so anyways, this is just to let you know the backstories behind the little girls that the government tried to get me to have sex with, and a dirty, nasty, evil cult called Calvary Christian Center that are criminals, that are not just criminals, government criminals. They work for the government, and they set up people for the government, and they kill people for the government, and they pimp out little underage girls, congregation members, to have sex with adults, and they try to set up their own congregation members to extort them. So do not go to Calvary Christian Center off Del Paso. They will pimp out little girls to lie about their ages, tell you that they're 18, and then try to extort you. I'm not laughing. Not laughing. Look up Macy Vang. Polygraph her. Ask her why she lied about her age to me. Do an investigation. Do a report. Police, anywhere. Go ahead. Polygraph her. Let's take it to court and let's find out the truth of what the frick happened. I guarantee you, she was told by the government and by Calvary Christian Center to lie about her age to me, to try to set me up for the evil cult, to try to set me up for the cult and try to set me up for the government. And hopefully I would keep seeing her after she told me she wasn't 18 anymore. No investigation will ever get done. Do you know why? Once again, the cops are a part of this. They did this. The cops in Southern California would be doing the cops in Marin County a favor. You know that thin blue line? The cops were doing the cops in Marin County a favor. The cops started this. The police helped to start the targeting on my life and to continue it. They're doing the cops in Marin County a favor. Are the cops going to investigate themselves? Internal Affairs already did that. They said they're not going to investigate any of this. They're not going to investigate anything. I feel like a woman who's been raped in the military, and you give the rape kit to the people, and they say, and they got rid of, and then they throw away all the evidence that you have. The only difference is that I have all the evidence, and then they victimize you more. And that's what's going on. So I'm being victimized. I'm the innocent victim, and I'm being victimized all the time. So, oh my God. So anyways, just everything just keeps hitting me like a ton of bricks the more I discover. I asked my brother Maurice and I asked Joan Knudsen to help me leave Sacramento, California for years, and they never helped me. Joan just gave me enough money a little while ago, not too long ago, to get a cheap car. The car broke down right as I was leaving Sacramento, California permanently. I'm not laughing. And it broke down on the way home to Marin County. I got a cheap car. She didn't give me like enough money for a good car, just $1,200 for a cheap car. And it broke down on the way to Marin County. What luck, right? I think they shut it down on the way to Marin County. And I don't think that had anything to do about being a cheap car. The car worked perfectly fine. I was on my way to Marin County. Finally, permanently, I was not going to come back here. And I believe the government shut down the car on purpose. So, if that happens again next time I go to Marin County, I'm just going, on my way there, I'm just going to have the car towed all the way to Marin County. Where this all began. But ironically so, it's also the safest place for me to be until I leave the country to Iceland. So, anyways, that's basically, I wanted to say basically what started all of this. And to give more detail into the little girls who try to have sex with me. I said I was going to do this in another video. So this is that video. I want to give more detail about the little girls and why the little girls try to have sex with me, and who and when. And the stories behind it are interesting stories. The mother and daughter in Marin County, the two Asian girls in Green Door, San Francisco massage parlor, and Macy Vang at the cult called Calvary Christian Center. Sex trafficking, child raping, child pimping cult called Calvary Christian Center. They will pimp out little girls to have sex with adults and try to extort the adults. And they're doing the government a favor, because everyone you set up for the government is doing the government a favor. Getting people under control, setting people up, keeping people quiet. It's You're doing the government a favor. They're doing the government a favor. Pretty sick, right? So anyways, God bless you all. This is David Jerome Hull, Hull. My cell phone is 707-640-5322. My cell phone is 707-640-5322. That is more of a backstory of why I was targeted and the horrible traumatic things that the government has done to me and what they wanted to do to me. They actually wanted to do far worse to me than they did. I know it. So once again, they try to turn me into a pedophile, into a child rapist, and they try to turn me into a homosexual as well, on top of all the horrible things they've done to me. They are the assassination of my life and the attempted setups are still ongoing. I'm trying to leave Sacramento, California, and I'm stuck here. Things are so bad. I will be taking my car that broke down, and I'm going to tow it all the way back to Marin County, and I'm going to tow it there, and I'm going to sleep in my car in Marin County, because it's better than living in Sacramento with the people who are trying to kill me and set me up here, who have more of a reason to set me up and kill me now more than ever before, because my books are pushing on me. And it's safer to be in Marin County, where the place that started all of this. That's why they wanted me to go to San Francisco, and why they want me to go to Sacramento, California, because it's very safe for me in Marin County, even though that's the place that started it. It's hard to kill someone in Marin County. It's very difficult, and to set people up in Marin County is very difficult. That's why they did what this, right? So, especially if you're aware. So, I have a rich white adopted mother, and I'm living in the ghetto in Sacramento. And Joan won't help me leave Sacramento, California with enough money to leave. And my family won't help me leave Sacramento, California. And I'm living in the ghetto. I almost got killed numerous times in the last few years living in this place. Diana Hickison refuses to leave the ghetto. I almost got run over with a car. I almost got killed by a police officer here, Sacramento County Sheriff's Department, and I almost got chased down and killed by a bunch of brown-colored skinned people. Three attempted murders within a few years, and no one will help me leave the area that almost got me killed 3 separate times in a few years. So, and I have proof of all those moments that happened. Video, another video, and a police report. That's proof. I had proof that these people tried to kill me 3 separate times here in this area, and no one will help me leave. Diana refuses to move this from this ghetto evil area. Joan and Maurice, my family, won't help me leave this area. Because they were trying to kill me all these years for the government. So anyways, God bless. I'm going to post this video, and this, once again, I want to give you guys more background of why this is happening to me presently, why this assassination began, the targeting began of my life, and this, what they did to me sexually all these years, and what they try to turn me into that would help to try to set me up. God bless you.